Welcome to the Backpacking Podcast. As always, John Kelly here with Jeremiah Stringer, the king of Kentucky backpacking. And we are down for one packed episode today, Jeremiah. There is a lot to talk about, man. And I want to kick things off by finding out about this trip that you just went on recently.
Oh, boy. Do I have some stories for you? Where to begin, man? I alluded to this last week in the episode that we had. 7-hour car ride, man. There was a group of us meeting to go to, I don't even know how to say the name. It starts with an M, but the Seneca Creek Trail was the name of the trail that we were on. And Mahagalaga.
You sound like a Pentecostal.
Well, my family was raised Pentecostal, so maybe that's where it comes from. But,
there you go.
It's West Virginia. I'm kind of looking on my screen here, but I don't know the name of the wilderness area, but Seneca Creek Trail in West Virginia, if you Google that, then you'll find the area.
It's the Monongahela.
Oh, I nailed it, bro. Isn't that what I said?
Not at all. It's Monongahela.
So it all started with, I had to wake up really early, man, because we had a judgment call to make. Now, I'm going to be honest. I didn't really do any planning on this trip. I just looked at what the weather was going to be and what the total mileage was. And the rest was up to what AllTrails, Jonathan. So
wow.
He had backpacked, I guess, in that area with somebody that he knew from YouTube. The other guy, his name's Rich. He was on the trip as well. And here in a few minutes, I'll show you a picture of everybody that was on the trip. But
is Rich the photographer guy?
He's not a formal photographer, but
he took this picture.
Oh, yeah, that was a great picture. Just a little sneak peek of what the trip looked like. You had Ned in the back, Jonathan in the middle, me in the front there, and we're walking along the trail. Dude, that could be on the cover of Osprey magazine.
If Osprey's watching, I mean, we'll license it to you. I mean, we won't tell Rich about it, but we'll license it to you. It'll be great.
Yeah. Ned had the pack cover on, you may notice, because this trip was supposed to be rainy, and we'll get to that in just a moment.
Yeah. And for those listening who didn't see the picture, obviously, it's an incredible photo, and it's of the three of them hiking, but the only one who's in focus is the guy in the back with the Osprey cover over his backpack. And I'm serious. If Osprey was to see that picture, they would want to buy it. So,
definitely.
Rich, make some money, buddy. Make some money.
Yeah. We'll send Osprey your way. But we drove. We was like, well, it's a 7-hour drive. Let's start about 3 hours away from home, getting some breakfast. That was the first leg of the trip. And so I think I met Jonathan like 5:30. We headed out, and then we stopped and got a coffee. And Tudors. Have you ever been to Tudors before? Tudors. There's one in Lexington. It's like
TUD. Okay, it sounded like it rhymed with Hooters, and I was like.
Tudors.
Is this like Is this like Timu Hooters, or what are we talking about here? So I was a little trying to figure out what you were talking about. Tudors, yes, I have been to Tudors.
Tudors, yes, not to be confused with Tudors,
the flagellant restaurant.
Yeah, it's ugly chicks that fart. That's who served you. Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but anyway. We went to Tudors, and they have these giant biscuits. If you imagine putting both your fists together and sticking lots of meat and cheese in between, then you're headed down the right path. I've never tried it before.
It's literally called Biscuit World.
Yeah, Tudors Biscuit World. I guess Tudors, maybe that's the last name of the people that started it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it's more of an East Coast chain. I would suggest trying it. It was good. Kind of felt like mom and pop-ish, but it's a chain restaurant. And then we headed on, man. We met up with Rich a couple hours out, as well as Jason and Josh. If you want to show a picture of all the people that were on the trip, you got me on the left for those people that are watching on YouTube or Spotify. Rich is just to my left. He's on the right if you're looking at your screen. He's got a hat on and a little zip-up hoodie. Jonathan in the back, cheesing. You got Jason in the red hoodie. Josh is to the far right, and then Ned in between Josh and Jason.
So, can I just point out, you have every kind of facial hair possible on this picture. Like Jeremiah's sporting the full beard, just the full man beard. You've got Jason, you got Jonathan in the back with the neck beard, rocking it pretty hard. Rich has the mustache that you would see in a cop from Chicago. You got a Fu Manchu going on in the middle with that long goatee going on, and then you've got your shorter, more Tony Starkish type of goatee going on in the other one, and then you finally got someone in the back with a fairly clean face minus the soul patch. So you really, I mean, you guys. I'm just gonna tell you, Jeremiah, you guys are the example of facial diversity for hair.
Hey,
Facial
we're
hair
all,
diversity, right there.
bro. We're all inclusive. I'll tell you. I'll go ahead and tell you how inclusive we are, man. I did not
Oh,
expect this whatsoever. We went to Tudor's on the way there, got our biscuits, but we said, well, what are we going to eat on the way back? You know, we was kind of going back and forth on the way home because we had a 7-hour drive back. And
that's a
we had a
long
whole,
drive with somebody too.
it is a long drive. It all worked out great though. Jonathan done all the driving, so I was passenger princess. Worked out fine for me.
Nice.
And on the way back, man, this is how inclusive we were. We said, what do you want to eat? Oh, I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. Finally decided on burgers. And I researched a couple of places. And this was a Sunday. And Sunday on the East Coast and also West Virginia, I think that's kind of the Bible Belt. You wouldn't think it, but a lot of places are just straight up closed on Sundays.
Yeah, a
And
lot of
like,
places.
I want a good burger. I don't want McDonald's. I don't want Wendy. I want a legitimate burger. And we were driving through some larger towns anyway. Charleston, West Virginia, I believe that might be their capital. Don't quote me on that, but
It
a
is.
pretty good sized city. So I said, let's find a good burger place and stop and eat, man.
Now, Jeremiah,
And
do you know a little known fact about me?
what's that?
I was born in West Virginia.
Oh, I did not know that.
I was born in Huntington, West Virginia. So technically, you were in my homeland.
That's true. I don't think we went through Huntington, but we stomped all over West Virginia, bro.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's beautiful. It's beautiful out there, man.
Oh, absolutely gorgeous, man.
Beautiful.
But anyway, what I was going to say was I looked at two different burger places and there was one that had a slightly higher rating. I said, yeah, I think that we better go there. I said, you know what we can do, dude? We could get the burgers to go. Why don't we call the place and get the burgers ordered ahead of time so we can just swing by there, grab them and keep on trucking. I wanted to get home, 7-hour drive. I said, let's get home before the sun goes down. So I called the place, no answer. I said, I gave it a minute. I said, let me call them again. Maybe it's Sunday and they're closed. I don't know. I called them again, no answer. It said you can order online, but I was afraid to pay for it online.
If you can't get a hold of the restaurant, yeah,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
like, I'm going to show up there. It says they're open, but they're actually closed. And then I just wasted $30 on a couple burgers and I'm not going to get them. So we show up, man, and was not expecting this whatsoever, but we pulled up, we got out of the vehicle, walked up, and I know this is Pride Month.
Now I need to know. Was it
Yes,
Fat Patties?
it was Smash Burgers, and the name of
Really?
the name of the restaurant was Groove. I think that's how you say it. It's GRUV, but the U
Okay.
has the two little dots above it. So I don't know. I see that a lot in German
Yeah.
language, but no, I don't know. Anyway, we got out, and like I said, I know it's Pride Month. It's June. Got Juneteenth coming up too. And there were pride flags everywhere, man. This place was spilling over with gayness. I mean, rainbows, banners, everything. I'm pretty sure whenever we walked in, Jonathan and I, well, we were also a male group walking in, but everybody was coupled up. Everybody was super nice, except the waiter. The phone started ringing and he didn't answer it. And I was like, well, we were just sitting there we sat at the bar and waited on our food to cook because I couldn't place it on the phone, right?
Hmm.
And the waiter, he was very flamboyant, by the way, just to paint a picture.
Hmm.
And he very sassy, but a nice guy. And he ignored the phone and then it rang again and he ignored it again and just kept on going about his job. But he got frustrated. Oh, this phone is ringing off the hook. I don't know why they don't just order online. And it was at that moment that I knew why I could not place my order. I had called 30 minutes prior and this is the guy that was working the bar. And so, needless to say, I don't know what his name was, but that guy, he was the reason why they're not taking any phone orders at Groove.
So
But
you're saying is for people traveling through Charleston, if you
yep.
want to order a burger from Groove, just order it online.
Yes, or order it online. That's what he said. And or you can sit down there and chill. They had tennis on and baseball. Not exactly my cup of tea, but
You're
yeah,
not
it's
a
a good
baseball
time.
fan?
Well,
Come on, you're not a Cincinnati Reds fan?
I've been to a Reds game. I'm gonna admit I wouldn't say I'm a big fan. And UK, they got beat, I believe, actually by West Virginia in the playoffs for baseball. So I'm not a huge college baseball guy, but
I'm not a huge college baseball guy either. So
yeah,
I'm with you on that one.
yeah. But anyway, we got about 10 minutes down the road, and I opened my burger, and they did not give me my side. And I said, well, what are you going to do, man? Full
I'm telling you,
price, all burger, no side.
I'm just going to let you know, if you are driving through West Virginia and you can find a Fat Patty's, get your burger from Fat Patty's.
That's the name of the restaurant, Fat Patty's?
Yes, Fat Patty's.
What a great name. They nailed it, bro.
Because they have fat burger patties.
Oh, yeah. A little bit on the nose, isn't it?
It's a little on the nose, yeah. They have a pretzel bun that will change your life. I'm just putting it out there. For people who are driving through, Western West Virginia, Fat Patties in the Huntington area, good stuff.
Well, I was impressed, by the way. I was disappointed that they didn't give me my side. You're supposed to get like some kind of pork rinds included, or you can do an upcharge and get whatever fries or whatever you want. My burger had 2 smash patties, the regular toppings, and pulled pork on top with coleslaw.
Ooh, now that sounds good.
Man. Yes, it was delicious. And like I said, the Tudors was delicious on the way in. So knocked it out of the park, except for my pork rinds there and back with eating. And the trip, just in general, man, I'll take you through a little bit of the trip just to give you a taste. All right.
Yeah, I've got the pictures ready. You tell me when to start showing pictures.
Okay. So actually, let me get the pictures on my screen too, so that I can.
I think I have 3 that I'm supposed to be showing right now.
Okay. So we headed out. I don't think I had you to add this picture, but Jason and Josh, their backpacks, I said, I got to weigh these, dude. We met up a couple hours before the trailhead with Rich and Ned. Well, actually, I think Ned met us at the trailhead. The other guy, there was another guy, but he just fished. He hiked in a mile with us, and there's a lot of fly fishing there. So he just walked in to fish, and we had like quite a bit of mileage on the first day. So we met at the trailhead, and I brought a scale so we could all weigh our backpacks to see how much they weighed. And I'm going to give you one guess on what my pack weighed. I took the Gossamer Gear Mariposa 60.
Oh, so you went lightweight for you?
Well, for me, I think. And I had 3 days worth of food and just my normal 40-degree temp is what my sleep system was rated for. What do you think all that weighed?
I'm going to guess 38 pounds.
Ooh, you're really close. 35 and 6 ounces, I believe.
I was going to say 36, but I was like, maybe I'm shooting a little short on that one. But 30, yeah, that's about right. I was going to say you're usually between 30 and 35 pounds.
Yeah, and it was a little uncomfortable. I wish that my pack was 30 or under for that trip, but I brought all kinds of luxuries, including my little table.
Nice.
Schwartz, whatever table.
Yeah.
Chair and everything. But anyway, I said, I got to weigh these guys' packs. And I weighed Jason's. I said, how much do you think it weighs? I don't know, man. It weighed 45.5 pounds.
Ooh.
I said, oof, bro, we're doing 7.5 miles today, right? We drove 7 hours. We have 7.5 miles on day.
Oh, I'm pulling this picture up because I think I can see the backpack. Holy cow, he's got a frying pan hanging off the back of his backpack, dude.
Well, he did bring.
I'm pulling this in right now. Like, this needs to be seen. I'll zoom in on him too when I get it in here. So, yeah, I didn't see this picture when we were talking through him earlier. It's impressive. Let's there it is right there, kids. If you're watching online,
a chair, frying pan. He's got a drone in one hand, water in the other. His hands are full the whole trip.
He's carrying a bag. Is that the drone?
That's the drone. Yep. He did end up flying the drone, and we already showed the picture of us at the waterfall, but he got another one that I didn't send you. Some good pictures with the drone. He's
How
pretty
much
good.
Was there a lot of water on the trail, or was it a pretty dry trail?
Unlimited supply of water, man.
Well, he's got at least 2 water bottles behind him right there.
Well, his buddy, the other guy, Josh, which I hadn't met before, he I weighed his pack and it was 55 and a half. And
Oh,
man, this is heavy. And I didn't know until we got to camp, but he didn't know the water situation. I was like, well, you could have just asked, but I carried a liter with me and then like one of those half-liter smart waters or 700 milliliter. I'm not sure
yeah.
what size exactly, but I was like, well, we can refill anytime you're walking along the creek and stuff. It's literally Seneca Creek, but he brought 2 3-liter bladders, I believe, full.
He didn't fill those, did he?
Full of water and
6 liters?
Well, I don't think he had ever been backpacking before.
Oh, okay. We'll give him a pass then. If you've not been backpacking before, you always think you need more than you do.
Yeah, that first trip teaches you real quick.
It does, yeah.
They were pretty messed up by the time we got to camp. Like Jason, every time we'd stop, I'd be like, during that first 7.5 miles that first day, it's beautiful nature out there, but there wasn't a ton to see. The waterfall was kind of the highlight, and that was near camp. So really, we were trying to make it to camp, and you did get a few views here and there and stuff, but we really wanted to make it to camp the first night and just hang out. So 7.5 miles after the 7-hour drive, and they were coming from the Cincinnati area, so it was about the same for them. And dude, every time we'd stop, Jason would be like, let's keep going. I don't need to stop. I need to get to camp and take this bag off because his was 45 and a half. Well, Josh, man, we made it to camp, and he's like, I think I messed up my ACL. So he was carrying that 55 and a half pounds with all that water, and he had, I think he said his hammock set up. He had one of the sideways ones, an hammock, I believe.
Yeah, I'm actually the guy I'm going out with tomorrow night has one of those.
Well, I don't know which one he bought, but he said his tarp and hammock and all that stuff was like over 7 pounds. And I was like, that's pretty heavy, bro. And after he saw our gear and like Jonathan's pack, I think was like 15 pounds or, 20 pounds loaded out or something. And then you're carrying 55.
Well, check this out. Since we're talking about packs.
Yeah, let's see it.
That's the new pack I'm taking out tomorrow night.
Oh, is that the newest one that you got?
That's the newest one, man. I've never used this before, so it'll be interesting. It's the Arn something Mountain Magic 50. So,
well, if it's worth talking about next week, let's see how it performed for you.
I'll tell you how it does. I think the suspension's the part I'm most excited about. It actually weighs about a pound. No, it weighs about 11 ounces more than my Z-Packs that I've been using for the past 3 years.
What's the total weight on there?
It's 32 ounces.
32 ounces. And did you just buy it because you want to try something different?
I bought it because of the suspension, because the suspension's like a floating suspension. Like the pack can move separate from the suspension or from the straps. The way it's
this
made.
is one that we talked with Steven, My Life Outdoors, about.
Yeah. So I'm real excited about using it and seeing how it does.
Gotcha. Yeah. Let us know, man.
Oh, I will. Maybe.
So anyway, these guys, long story short, their packs were heavy.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, there's so many like side trails and stuff. There's so many options for this trip. We were going to do like 5 or 6 miles day 2 and do this big second half of the loop. But those guys, they decided to cut it off and just do 2 miles. So they skipped the plane crash. If you want to show the plane crash, this is one of the highlights of the trip as well. I think in the 70s or maybe 80s, we got the tail number, even though it's not in this picture. So you could look up like the flight manifest or whatever you would call it, but it's a single or 2 passenger plane, I believe. The picture that you're seeing now, that's most of the wreckage, but it was kind of there. And then it was strewn out a little bit in 2 other really close by areas, but small plane, you come up, maybe take a little moment of silence. I think 2 people passed from the plane crash and they never did recover the bodies. Of course, it's 70s or 80s. So maybe before they got out there, animals or something got to them. I'm not sure, but yeah, we checked out the plane crash day 2, but those guys had to skip it because they were hurting pretty bad. But when we got to camp,
here's a question. Let me just ask this question. I mean, when you weighed them, was that with all of their water filled up?
Yeah, that was weight. So that was carrying weight.
If they would have just emptied out their water and just had a single water bottle, they would have dropped 10, 15 pounds each, wouldn't they?
Well, they asked me how much does a liter of water weigh. I said 2.2 pounds. So if you're carrying 6 extra liters, man, that's like 15 pounds.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight. That's what I'm saying. If they just did that, then they'd be way more comfortable on the trail. Plus, you ate your food from the night before, so that's
Yep.
gone. Like, it's amazing if you're doing it right. By the end of the week, by the end of a trip, you should be carrying a much lighter pack.
Well, that frying pan was for tacos. They brought like ground venison mixed with I'm not sure the percent fat, but cow fat,
Mm-hmm.
and made tacos. Dude, it was
That was
raining
good.
off and on the whole first day, and we like to never got actual fire going. We just kept having to blow on it and fan it and use billows, and we at least got enough coals that they could cook the tacos. I felt so bad. I was like, these guys got to cook these tacos after carrying in 50 pounds
Yeah.
with like actual meat and not something dehydrated. I was like,
Yeah.
I brought in instant mashed potatoes for night one. I was like, I'm not carrying all this extra weight because I knew it was going to be a lot of miles that first day.
Yeah,
Especially
I'm actually working on my food tonight. I've got a bunch of number 10 cans of freeze-dried stuff that I'm just mixing up myself and making for my meals.
What's a number 10 can? What's that mean?
If you buy freeze-dried stuff in bulk, they call it a number 10 can. It's a really big can of freeze-dried food. So I'll just get a big thing of chicken, a big thing of steak, a big thing of pork, and then I'll mix it with different vegetables that are freeze-dried, and I'll get like some like instant rice, throw that in there with it, and just fill that with some spices and some seasoning. Usually I never put in enough salt. That's always the thing I forget to do, is put in enough salt for those. But you do that, and then you just add water, like you would your really expensive meals, and these will cost you maybe when it's all said and done about $2.50.
Oh, that's so much cheaper than $16 a meal.
Yeah, yeah, and
I
they're
feel like
good.
every
If you do it right, they're really good.
What is that can called?
It's a number 10 can. I mean, you'll see them if you go on Amazon. If you just type in freeze-dried food number 10 can, they'll pop up.
I feel like anytime somebody says it, then I ask what that is. I bet I've asked 5 times just on this podcast.
I think you have, but that's all right. I here's the thing. I'm not going to judge. And here, I'm even going to do this for you. I'm going to do this for you so you can see what we're talking about. This right here.
Putting it in long-term memory right now.
These are number 10 cans. You got potato shreds, banana chips, apple slices, chopped onions. There's apricots. There's potato slices, powdered eggs. A Mountain House does diced chicken. You can get the Chili Mac stuff on there. Sweet corn. I mean, you name it, you could probably find it in a number 10 can. And then what I do is I get what I want, and then I freeze the rest. And works pretty well, man.
Well, I brought instant mash. I put in some little bacon bits, some string cheese, some dried chives, spiced it up a little bit, and took some white cheddar Cheez-Its. And it was glorious. And then after all that, those guys cooked tacos, and I said, "Don't mind if I do." He brought like.
Did you ever offer to help carry stuff for them?
Well, they did try to get one of us to carry the beef, but everybody had brought all their own food, and I guess they thought it was more of a potluck style. But I thought I was pretty clear that I'm going to bring my. I even sent a picture of like I like to do a grid system with my breakfast snack, lunch snack, dinner snack.
Yeah.
Sometimes the last snack. I didn't do last snack this one, but I guess he wanted to bring stuff to share anyway, and he brought like whole tomatoes, whole onions, cutting board, big knife. Actually, he used pocket knife. I take that back. Spatula, like standard, kitchen supplies. Brought them out. Pretty heavy, but delicious tacos, especially since it's venison.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Anyway, to progress along here in the story, day 2, we separated. Me, Rich, Ned, and Jonathan. We done the long routes. I think it ended up being like 6.5 miles on day 2. And Josh and Jason took the short route. They done 2 miles straight to camp, but I was joking around with them, bro. I was like, it's been wet all day Friday. It's Saturday. I can't wait till we make it to camp. Y'all are going to beat us there. I'll know which campsite it is because it'll have the biggest, best fire. It'll have the most firewood whenever we arrive.
That's not what you got.
Well,
it's not at all what you got. You just set yourself up for failure on that one.
Well, I was hoping I was hoping they got there before us. I thought, man, these guys are hurting pretty bad and their packs are still really heavy. And I was like, they might hike 2 miles and us 6, and we get there at the same time. You never know. But we got there. They had everything set up. They had already cut some firewood. They had a nice fire going. I couldn't be more happy, man. Rich, he set his tarp up, put his pack and stuff under there in case it started raining again, which it did, of course. And he done fly fishing, and he was slaying them, bro. He had like a telescoping rod and reel, and he had caught several fish just hanging out there right in front. I mean, he was catching fish 25 feet from the fire, standing there in the river.
Really?
Yeah, they have a number of different trout there, I guess, in that creek or river. I'm not sure if they stock it or what, but
so did he feed you guys trout?
No, I think you're supposed to do catch and release. Or actually, I think you're not supposed to do catch and release, but he was anyway. Yeah, I asked him if he's going to fillet some up. He's like, well, man, honestly, you probably won't have to worry about filleting them. The ones I'm going to catch are so small that bones are not going to be an issue. So I said, man, I don't think he brought anything to fillet them with, and didn't want to cook them. So he released them all. I think he caught 6 or 7 or 8, something like that. But we camped out night 2, had a great fire. Did not win the game. We had kind of we had kind of a throne of a pooping area, and I knew it was a pooping area because our campsite was down below, and then you can walk up on a hill, and there were several places around trees where there was it looked like loose dirt and a stick sticking straight up. So
thank you for the warning.
Yeah, that's the universal signal. Do not dig here, because you're going to find a surprise you do not like. So,
or you're just gross and you're going to add to it.
Yeah, and I tell you what, man, I didn't have to poop till Sunday. I pooped on the way on Friday while we were driving. We stopped at a rest area.
Yeah,
and I pooped, but Saturday didn't have to. And then Sunday morning, right before, this is always the worst, man. Everybody's packed up. They're ready to go. They actually woke me up. They were doing a little waiting on a stringer. It was like
so it's not just a Jason thing.
It's not. Well, those guys, we went to sleep late, probably around midnight night too, honestly.
Yeah.
And then I heard some snapping of twigs, and I heard people walking around. I put my hammock pretty close to the fire.
Yeah.
And because night 2, I was kind of away from everybody. Wanted a little privacy, get a good night's sleep. But night 2, I wanted to be in it amongst them. So I set up pretty close to the fire so I could talk to everybody while I was setting up. And then the problem with that is the next morning when people start waking the fire, you're on their time. So I looked at my watch and I was like, 5:49. These guys are up before 6. We just went to sleep.
Man.
I was like, bro, I got a baby at home and I never get to sleep in now. I thought it was just a myth, but it's not a myth. It doesn't matter if you're on summer break or it's Saturday.
No, your days of sleeping in have been gone. I've been gone since that baby was born, dude.
Well, I thought this is a perfect opportunity to sleep in, but I was wrong because I heard twigs and stuff. And I was like, these guys, y'all slept like 5.5 hours and you're ready to get up. So anyway, I was in luck, bro. I heard twigs snap. I heard a fire start up. I heard, which means somebody's making coffee over their stove.
Yep.
And then I heard pit, pat, pitter, patter, pit, pit, tip, 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 tip. And it started raining. And I said, thank you, sweet baby Jesus. These guys have to go back. They got to go under their tarps. They got to crawl back in their tents. And they were there for about an hour until it started raining. And then I went back to sleep for like 2 more hours, man.
Oh, congratulations.
I said, let that fire die. You all go back, hang out, have your coffee, eat your breakfast, let me sleep. I didn't say anything to them, of course, but, I'm the one that set up there.
Now, I will tell you, for people who've never backpacked with me before, there is one thing I do religiously. I am a weather hawk. I am watching that weather the entire trip because I do not like being out in rain. I just don't like it. Ever since the Sheltoe Trace, if I can avoid being in the rain, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to avoid being in that wet stuff. And so I will watch the weather, and Crow, Brad, as the crow flies hiking. Yeah. When I went to Alabama with him, we're hiking along. He goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm checking the weather. He goes, for what? And I said, well, I mean, there's supposed to be storms tomorrow. I'm just curious when they're supposed to come. And so I get on and I look and I'm watching the hourly and I'm like, we might want to go to bed early tonight. He goes, why? I said, because at 8 o'clock, we were supposed to get crushed by storms. And he's like, really? I said, yeah, we're supposed to get crushed. And I showed him the radar, and it was like just a big cloud of red, coming across the screen. And he's like, oh, no. I was like, yeah, so we'll probably need to get up and get out of here, by like 5:30 if we want to get out of here and not have to hike in that crap. And, so we all go to bed at like 9. It was already dark anyways. Everybody was tired. We just hiked like, I don't know, 13 miles or 14 miles or something like that. And so we got into bed. Got up at 5 o'clock the next morning. Everybody ate breakfast. Everybody got out. We got in his truck at the end, drove 5 minutes up the road, and bam, the storm hit. And
so you try to plan around it, huh?
Dude, I try so hard not to get stuck in that stuff. There's nothing I hate more than being a drowned rat out in the woods.
We walked 5 minutes in on day one.
Yeah.
And it was already starting to like sprinkle before we walked away from the cars. And we made it 5 minutes in, started raining pretty hard. So we pulled up under a tree, dropped our packs, put our pack covers on, put our rain jackets on, started down the trail, stopped raining. I was like, I got to take my pack cover off just so I don't hold in the moisture from where my backpack's and now being covered by the pack cover. Took the rain jacket off, and it was like that on and off. The whole trip. So I feel like it's almost rainforest over there where we were at.
Well, and here me show this picture of you in the rainforest because you took a really cool shot, a really cool selfie in it. Let me see if it's this one here.
Oh yeah, the pines, man. This was just on the way out. I said, this is very, very good leading lines. For those in photography, a lot of times you have lines that converge together and you have a subject in there at the end of those lines or beginning of those lines. I said, this is well balanced. So that would make a good profile picture. I don't think anybody's buying that one with my ugly mug, but you can see my pack covers on there. That definitely names the rainforest.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to tell you this, man. This is a hot take because you know me, I love doing hot takes. I will never use a rain cover. I hate rain covers. I think they're the biggest waste of time on the planet.
Yeah, I think it's circumstantial. I typically don't bring one either. That's probably the third trip I've brought a rain cover on.
I don't think they're circumstantial. I just think they're worthless. If you've got a good pack liner, if you got a good thick pack liner, and your stuff's not going to get wet, then putting the rain cover on does nothing but build a puddle of water at the bottom of the rain cover that just keeps pouring out in the back of your butt as you're hiking.
Yeah, when that happens, and I think I've said this on the show before, those are the worst invention known to man. When you got the water pouring down your butt crack.
Yeah, like it's like, here's my thing. I'm gonna carry an umbrella, and I don't care if people think that's stupid. I'm bringing an umbrella, and I'm gonna not use a pack cover, and I'm probably gonna have drier gear, and I'm probably not gonna sweat as bad as a lot of people because I'm not putting on a raincoat unless it's like raining sideways.
I wish I had my umbrella. Every time we got wet, I was like, man, why didn't I bring my umbrella this trip? That was stupid. Should have brought my umbrella.
And your glasses. Get an umbrella.
The worst thing is wearing glasses.
Yeah.
Also, like since I've grown my hair out, I haven't really worn hats while hiking. Typically, whenever I was hiking, I would have short hair and you wouldn't really worry about your hair at all. You would just throw on a hat. Yep. Keep it moving. The brim of the hat, it gives you shade, and it helps keep a little bit of the water off if it's raining and you're wearing not sunglasses, but like just regular glasses, like prescription glasses, which I wear pretty much every day. Didn't take my contacts at all with me. And I didn't bring a hat at all on this trip. I just thought, I'll just use my buff if I need to for my hair and just some ponytail holders. And I definitely regretted not having the umbrella since I didn't have the hat because walking through the rain, with the rain jacket with the hood on,
it's just running down your face. Yeah,
constantly. It's like a windshield with no wipers, dude. It sucks.
Yep. So I take it you're gonna probably wear a hat next time, huh?
Well, honestly, I might bring the umbrella instead. I really like the
umbrella, dude.
Yeah, depending on the
never
trail.
Used it. People who've never used it don't understand.
if the trail's real dense, the umbrella's terrible because it's just constantly being grabbed.
Yeah.
It could get torn and stuff. But if it's well maintained and a fairly wide path, then the umbrella.
That's what your trail looked like on this one.
Yeah, it was pretty wide open. I don't know if we got any other pictures to show besides maybe a view or something.
Well, it looked pristine. I'll tell you that. It looked pristine.
There's so many different ecosystems, dude. You had the pines in some areas. Some areas you just had open meadows. Some areas were down by the creeks and you had several creek crossings. Really no way around keeping your feet from getting wet. So sometimes you just bite the bullet. One thing I learned on the long trail was if the trail's going to be muddy and you're going to have to jump from rock to rock the entire day, sometimes it's best to just commit to having wet feet and keep it moving. It just simplifies things. It mitigates risk of injury. It just is what it is.
You know, wet feet was the thing I hated the most when I first started backpacking. Mm-hmm. And wet feet now are the thing I really don't think about at all.
Yeah, especially whenever the temperature of your feet heats back up and they're wet, but they're at least warm and not squishy.
And if I'm not hiking more than, 12 miles total, I don't have to worry about blisters and stuff from that stuff. I think if I was doing, long trail hiking where you're hiking 20 to 25 miles in a day, I'd probably be halfway through the day taking my socks off, taking my shoes off, letting my feet dry out, just because your risk of blisters and all that kind of stuff are a little higher when you're hiking more miles. But if you're not hiking huge miles, it's not that big of a deal.
After getting soaked the first day and everything is just damp, like even my hammock, packing it up, I'm putting it in this Nylofume bag, but the hammock is kind of damp. Everything is damp. And dude, were you camped next to the creek? Yeah, we were pretty close to the creek all the time, so it probably stays damp down there.
Yeah, it's probably pretty humid.
But we made it like 0.8 or 0.9 miles on day 2 that morning, and we made it to this big open meadow. First open place that we had made it to in the trip, and the sun came out. And I said, boys, this looks like a great spot for a break. I know that we've only been walking for 3/4 of a mile, but the sun's out, and we just stopped there. And then like an hour later, stopped and had lunch, and the sun beamed down. Everybody put out their tarps and tents, let them dry out. I took my shoes off, my socks off, because your feet are starting to get pruny.
Yeah.
It just felt so good to have that warm sunshine on you after the cold, damp night. I think the low, Rich had one of those thermometers that it tells you the high and the low on the day if you click it. And overnight, I think it got down to 59. So it wasn't that cold, but 59 and wet it's not the most comfortable.
Yeah. I'm with you. Yeah, that's why the underquilt protector is good on trips like that. Being able to put that under there and keep all the moisture off of your underquilt and your hammock.
Even the splash bag, like your tarp, if it's raining so hard that the water's just falling directly off the sides of the tarp, or even run into a spot where you have it kind of sloped, it still splashes and it gets your underquilt wet.
Yep.
Right there's bad news, bro. I brought my 40-degree UGQ and my 27-degree top quilt, so I was warm, but I think that's about it on the trip, man. It's a fun time. I think I'm going to go on Jonathan's show tomorrow. Well, it's already happened as the people that are listening to this now, since we're recording this early. But if you want to go back and watch on AllTrails YouTube channel, we're planning on live streaming and talking more about the trip. So if you want a deeper dive or see a different perspective, you can check out his channel. And
I'm planning on being in the woods with our good friend Jeremy from All Things Outdoors tomorrow night. So we're hopefully going to have some signal. We might watch you guys, and who knows, we might even try and chime in at some point during the show and say hi to you guys.
That sounds country. I think it's like 6:30 or 7. So if y'all are freed up, feel free to pop in and say hello. We didn't have a bit of signal the whole time we were out there. We were like 20 minutes from the trailhead and just totally lost service. I said, bro, I hope you're paying attention to these turns because we got to drive out of here in a couple of days, and Google Maps is not going to work. So I ended up having to use AllTrails and just use the offline map that I had downloaded and just look at the roads and follow them to bigger and bigger roads till we made it to a city big enough where we had cell phone signal.
And that's a hack that's really important to know if you're going to be doing stuff like this. You can actually there are map programs you can download for your car when you're driving, where you can download that state's GPS data and map data so that you don't have to worry about losing signal. Because like you said, if you're going to these places that are very remote, but then you have no signal and you go to pull up GPS and you got nothing, that's kind of scary. That's kind of scary. So that's just a little thing to think about.
Speaking of AllTrails, man, I don't know if you want to talk about this yet, but I have
let's finish with this. Let's actually finish with this. Let's end the show and let's talk about Jeremiah Stringer's beef with AllTrails.
Oh, I love that teaser, bro. Stay tuned till the end or fast forward to the end.
This is what we're ending with. No, this is it. We're talking about it right now. This is how we're ending the show. We're talking about AllTrails.
You want to end the show right now and talk about AllTrails?
We're going to talk about AllTrails right now because I think you need more time than just a couple seconds to talk about this.
Okay. Well, I have been a longtime subscriber to AllTrails, and I was balancing our budget, and I guess I have an iPhone, and anybody with an iPhone already knows you have the Apple ID, and anything you subscribe to, it's connected to your banking account or Apple account or whatever, and it charges you. So like I have YouTube Premium, for example. So every month they pull out of my checking account, auto withdrawal, however much it is, $20 a month. Well, yearly, my AllTrails renews, and it renews every June. But you're never going to guess this. Every June, I totally forget that I have an auto renewal for every June for AllTrails for years. So, and I love AllTrails, but here's my problem. I was balancing the budget, and I was like, well, YouTube Premium, it typically, they send me an email, Apple does, and they say, here's your receipt for all the purchases. So whatever it is, your Apple Music, blah, blah, blah. And it had the AllTrails on there, and it was like $36, $37. And I was like, okay, that sounds about right. And then I clicked on AllTrails because they had sent me an email separate from my Apple ID email, but a different one. I guess maybe I'd signed up under a different account or something. I don't know. But my paid one, this is a separate email they sent me to, and they're like, you can try out Peak, I think was their new
Peak Plus. I'm on here looking at it right now.
So I said, what? Let me check this out. Cause I was paying for the top service, I thought, on AllTrails. And so I guess that they released this new service. I'm sure it incorporates just like everything else. It incorporates AI, even though I think some of them don't incorporate AI. They just put AI on there, and it's new features that they've come out with. Oh, this is AI supported. So they have all these things that you could do. Here's my problem. Last year, I paid for all this stuff with my subscription. AllTrails, it was I thought their top tier program. And then this year, they sent me an email. This is after they had charged me $37 or whatever it was, $40. Send me an email with all these features. And I'm like, wait a second, I already paid for all these features. So I clicked on it, and I was like, what? This is saying customize your route. So I clicked on it, and I clicked on it on my phone and tried to edit one of the routes that I'd already created for a previous trip that I'd done, like in the spring or something. And it wouldn't let me do it. It's like, you can subscribe now for the Peak Plus account. I was like, wait a second. So you're telling me you at AllTrails, not only did you charge me the same amount, you took away features that I'd already paid for multiple years, and then you're rebranding it and saying these are new features and you can pay for our next tier up, or it's actually, I think, 2 tiers up.
Here's the thing. It's $80 a year.
Get out of here, AllTrails. Kick rocks. This is absolutely $80 a year. You want me to pay for the features that I already had and charge me double what you were already charging me last year? And it's already went up every year anyway.
Right.
I don't understand.
$80, dude. $80. Now,
so needless to say, I will not be renewing in 2026 since I already paid for it because I forgot, because I'm an irresponsible adult. I already paid for it for a year, but I would love to contact AllTrails and say, look, I paid for this 2 days ago. and I want to cancel it and get all my money back because you guys, this is absolute trash, man. It's not okay with me. I don't know if it's okay with you, but being a
No.
paid subscriber member, I don't want a company rebranding the features that they already give and then charging me double for it when I've already paid. So, but I did go on the computer. I will say I went on the computer and it does say I can create a custom app on the computer. I couldn't do it on my phone. I don't know. Maybe I'm just dumb and missing something. Maybe I'm overlooking something and blowing this way out of proportion. And it's all just a mistake. And if it is, y'all please correct me in the comments. Send us an email, backpackingpodcast@gmail.com.
Well, I want to show people like the ridiculousness of this, if that's okay with you. So
Absolutely.
this is Onyx backcountry. Now,
Okay, you might
if we go over
do me
here to
that.
Onyx and we look at their premium, okay, plan your next ski tour, mountain bike ride, hike, or rock climb with hundreds of thousands of miles of trails and routes. Save unlimited offline maps, view the world in immersive 3D, build custom routes, all that for $30. $30.
I
And
was an
then
investor in
if
them.
you want private land boundaries and landowner names and that kind of stuff and recent imagery, then it goes up to $100. Which I get that because that's some pretty premium stuff, knowing if you're on someone's private property and who owns it and all that. That is kind of a big deal, but you can make a custom route and build your own maps on Onyx for $30.
And on AllTrails, 80.
$80. And AllTrails is notorious for having trails that no one should be hiking because they're poorly made and put on public display for everybody to die on.
Yeah, I don't know what there has to be some kind of vetting system, I think, that AllTrails should have. I'm not sure what that should look like. Hopefully there's people smarter than me that can figure it out, but you need to have some kind of vetting system where you can't just have Joe Blow upload a trail that he sat on his phone on the toilet and made, and then somebody actually tries to go out and hike it, and you're like, well, there's not even a trail here, bro. This is just like drops off the side of a cliff. Now I have to backtrack 8 miles to get back to an intersection where I can actually get to my car.
It's really silly. I mean, it's just kind of silly. Like, if we're being honest, it's just kind of silly, and I think it's ridiculous that they're charging as much as they are for this stuff. It's ridiculous.
I know everything goes up in price, and I have create a custom map pulled up on my AllTrails on a separate screen while we're live here, and it says create a custom map, easily plan the perfect path for your next hike, bike or run with our map creator, and then it's got like a little notification under it. It says stay tuned for a new custom routing experience coming soon. And then it has the same features that I had before where you can draw on the map and you can customize. I can't do it on my phone. I can't figure out how to do it on my phone. I think I can still do it on the desktop, but here's what this is just speculation here. Okay. Hopefully we don't get sued for defamation or slander or something like that. And I'm just totally wrong about AllTrails, but right now it'll let me do it. But that little notification that says stay tuned for a new custom routing experience, that to me says, hey, this is about to be an even higher paid feature.
Yeah. Well, and here, look at this. And I'll just show this too. Here's Gaia, $59.90 for the year, and that is their highest level. There is no higher level than Gaia Premium. You get all of their features for $59.99. So, I mean, you're talking $20 more for AllTrails.
I don't know if I can make an informed decision on that because I don't know all the features for Gaia. Does it have the create a custom and
I make every trip I go on with Gaia. I've got so many trips saved on Gaia here. I'll even pull up my account and show you.
Will it let you?
Why not? Because I mean, we're here, right?
Yeah. Will it let you add pins like waypoints along the way? Like, say you want to mark, oh, here's where I might get water. Here's a potential camp spot.
Well, here, I'll pull this up. I'll just let you look at the program so you can see what's going on. So if you go over here and we'll go to my saved items, these are all trips that I have planned and put together and hiked there at different points. And I mean, when I went to Grayson Highlands, here's the 18-mile loop I made. And you can see you can just click right on the trail. and they've got different points picked out here, like places where we're going to camp or visit, different places where parking lots are. I mean, the whole thing's right here, so you could see everything, and you could plan the whole thing out. Like there's a loop I created within it with the elevation profile. I can go back and check out this loop, which I think we almost did this, but we ended up changing it. But then again, there's the elevation profile there. You can see your ascent, your descent, max elevation. Everything's right there for you. You can just click on different places on the trail and make a new one. I mean, it's super easy to use. And I've been using it for 7 years now. And like I said, you saw how many things are saved on here. I mean, these are all trails that I've saved over the last several years.
If you never catch the video version of this, I would highly urge you to watch it sometimes, because you miss these little Easter eggs. Like John has at least 25 tabs open on his computer right now. You wouldn't think he must have the most powerful computer in the world. You know, at work, they're like, the reason why your computer slows, you have 6 tabs open, but John is over here rocking 24 tabs somehow.
And this is on the Backpacking Podcast Google account, so you know
you probably got a separate browser open under your personal account with 20 more tabs.
No, that's just the Backpacking Podcast one, because we keep talking about stuff we have to pull up during the show. So, but I mean, you could see this. You could see all the different little areas here. There's a vista there that I put in because I wanted to see the vista.
Now, can you add that stuff on your phone in real time while you're out there? You're like, I want to drop a pin right here because this was an awesome vista. You can?
Yeah.
Well, I can't do that with AllTrails, so.
Well, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
What I really want.
All I gotta say, I'm sorry.
I want AllTrails, Gaia, Far Out, Onyx, and Garmin to all like the EarthMate app. I want them to all combine forces and give us the best of the best, all the greatest features, the best features. Well, it doesn't even have to be the best of the best. Let's just combine forces and add every single feature in one app. And then I will pay $100 a year or however much it costs. Just take my money and give me access to everything.
I mean, there are so many still you haven't even talked about. There's Avenza, there's Hiker, there's Trail Forks, there's Topo Maps, Outly. I mean, there are so many different programs out there. And the one that Steven Smith likes is Natural Atlas. That's the one that he's plugged on his channel over the years. So, I mean, they're all over the place. I mean, you can find all kinds of different map programs. All of them have some features that the others don't have, and most of them have a lot of the same features. You just got to find the one you like the most. The problem is so many people have counted on AllTrails for so long, and now they're getting a major feature taken away unless they pay more money. It's kind of like a mafia move, if you ask me.
I still hope that I'm wrong. I hope that I'm missing something, and I hope that it's not just on the computer, that you can edit or create your custom routes, because that's the whole point of the app to me. That's like why I buy a subscription to the app, is so I can download it offline and so that I can create my own points customized however I want.
Well, and here's something else you can do that's I mean, you might be able to do this on AllTrails too. I never messed with AllTrails, but you can also import a GPX file. So say you create a route on AllTrails and you send me the GPX file, I can load that right into my Gaia on my computer, pull it up, see all the points that you've put on there and everything, and I can have it right there in my phone just by syncing it up with my phone. So
let me say my piece here. When are we going to reach a point? When are we going to reach a point as a society where everything, for the rest of my life, is this just the way it is, that everything that I'm ever going to need, I had to pay a subscription? Like I buy a car and they're like, oh, you want heated seats? It comes with heated seats.
Buddy, you live in Kentucky. You live in Kentucky. You do pay a subscription fee. It's your yearly sales tax on the car that you already bought several years ago. Kentucky's been doing that for decades, man. We've been paying a subscription on our cars. It's stupid the way. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm going to calm down now. Yes.
My sister called me today, and she said, "Hey, I got pulled over earlier. I said, "What's up?" And she's like, "It was a police officer pulled me over," and she's like, "I was confused why he pulled me over." She's like, I was switching over lanes. I gave my signal. I didn't think I was breaking any laws. My driver's license is good. I got insurance on my vehicle. Everything's good." And whenever he come up to the window, she's like, I don't understand. I wasn't speeding. Why did you pull me over?" He said, your tags are no good." She was like, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, your tags are expired." And she was like, "Well, tell me more." And he's like, "Well, you didn't renew them. They've been expired, since May of last year." And she was like, "Well, when I bought the car, I thought I'd done all the paperwork and everything was good to go. And I paid the taxes." And she bought this car like last year, a Jeep or something. I can't
Yeah.
remember. And
She's never renewed her tags before?
she had no idea that it was even a thing. And I said, "Welcome to an adult life, sister, because any type of property that you own, you're going to pay a tax on it every single year for the rest. I don't care if it's a boat, a trailer,
Unless you don't live in Kentucky. When I lived in Wisconsin and Ohio, I didn't have to do that.
Well,
You just had to pay your license for you had to pay your registration each year, which was like $39.
Well, that's your registration. So
Oh, no. In Kentucky, it's sales tax.
Yeah, but you only have to pay sales tax one time. It's a transfer.
No, you pay your registration for your car is based on the value of your car. That is not a registration fee. That is a sales tax.
I don't think it's a sales tax.
That is a sales tax. Property tax, sales tax. Why am I paying a property tax on something that is not attached to the ground?
I agree with you, man. I think that
evil. If we're paying a subscription for our vehicles.
Yeah, I'm paying, and your house, and I get the like the lot that my house is on.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm kind of in favor of
eliminating
if it's paid
taxes.
Not eliminate. You can't eliminate taxes. You have to have them, or we can't.
Just sales tax. Let's just eliminate everything but sales tax. Give me a 12% sales tax, and don't tax me on anything else.
Well, if it balances a budget, then I don't think it matters how you're taxed. But I think if I pay off my house and I own it, I shouldn't have to pay a property tax on it. If I pay off my vehicle and I own it, I shouldn't have to pay a property tax. I even don't love a private sales tax. That's not why if I sold you my truck, why would you pay 6%? Yeah, I get it. The government has to have money because we have, socialized things like fire department, police, road crews. You have to have roads to drive on. You have to have schools. You have to have a lot of these things. So I totally get it. Money has to be coming in, but I'm just saying in general, I don't. What's the breaking point where people get fed up or are we just going to have to live in a world for the rest of our life where it's like, if you want entertainment, do you want Hulu or Netflix or Disney Plus? Like pick one or two, but you can't have them all. Do you want ESPN Plus? Okay. Well, you can't have Hulu, ESPN, Disney, Netflix, Paramount. You can't have them. Well, you might be able to have them all, but my budget does not say have all. And also, I think there had already been pushback on this because I think it was BMW that was coming out with a car that had everything preloaded, even like upgrades to some of the features on the car that were mechanical that weren't turned on unless you paid for subscription to
what?
It. Like I told you, the heated seats, for example. Now I get like GPS.
Come on now.
If you want to charge extra for a car GPS, I think everybody does like Apple CarPlay now. If you get a newer car or you install a new radio or whatever, but I get if you want an upgraded sound system or something, you pay for it one time. But right. I don't want 12 speakers in my car and 6 of them work unless I pay an extra $5.99 a month. I don't want heated seats in my car, but they don't work unless I pay an extra $5 a month.
Right.
I don't want a 6th gear on my vehicle, but I can't get to it unless I pay an extra $10 a month. Are we just going to live in a society where everything is subscription based and nothing is a one-time fee?
I mean, we will until we're a third world country and nobody can afford anything.
Well, it's tough out there.
It's like, I mean, it's kind of what's happening, right?
I hope not. I hope not. You know me. I'm not. I'm
But,
not.
but
big
here's the
on
thing.
politics.
You know what they can never take away, even if we do become a third world country?
What's it?
The wilderness. And so we can always get out in the woods, and we can always hike, and we can always backpack. We just may have to pay a subscription fee for our backpacks. So with that said, thank you guys for tuning into the Backpacking Podcast. This has been a great episode, man. I love it when you play the old man and kicking people out of your yard. It's good stuff.
You're
So-
welcome.
So for myself and Jeremiah, we will catch you all on the next one.